This is the Roulette Master, and I am so excited today to share with you Jerry's Jackpot Roulette system. He said not only does this one consistently win, but he said it wins huge. So let's see if he's right, and let's test his incredible new roulette system today up against one of the absolute best. And this is one I haven't even lost with yet that I just can't find a way for it to lose yet. Let's test it up against the fantastic new Milestone Roulette system, and let's place the bets. And with Milestone Roulette, what we first do is we mark the last 6 numbers with bets that we're going to remove. So we're going to do the 7, the 25, the 2, the 14, the 15, and the 34, and then we're going to put $1 on every other number, and then we'll usually have a $32 bet when we're finished. Once we remove those $10 bets that are the markers. And sometimes that's different if you have multiples in the last 6 numbers, like say you hit the same number 2 or 3 times out of the last 6 spins. But most of the time we're starting with the $32 bet. So let's remove those marker bets now that represent the last 6 numbers. And again, I have not lost with this one yet. And let's go ahead and get started. And you see we have a 0 balance. Let's go ahead and spin. And let's see if it continues to make money consistently. That's a 20 black, and that's a good win to start. But you see it starts off small, but I bet you anything, we're going to make $300-$400 this session. So don't worry about that small small one there. So let's go ahead and take the 20 off now. Okay, and now we'll be at a $31 total bet. We're going to have milestones. Each $100 that we make are going to be milestones. And don't think, again, that just because we're starting off with small wins like you're seeing right here, that's going to mean we're not going to win a lot, because we are. Let's go ahead and remove the 31 now. We're going to remove each one as they hit. And the cool thing about this is you start with super high coverage, but even as you're peeling off the layers, you still have high coverage, just not as big. Okay, so that's a $6 win. We're up $15, and the profits are going to start to escalate here pretty quickly. So we'll remove the 16 that just hit, and let's go ahead and spin. And here we go with Milestone Roulette. That's a 17 black. Okay, that's a nice win. Now we're up $22. Let's remove that. And again, each time we remove, we're going to start making more money. We're up 22. So each spin, we're going to make more than the spin before it. And here we go. That's a 36 red. And I believe that is a win. All right, so we're up $30. Let's remove the 36. Okay, now we're at a $27 total bet. And here we go. Let's see what we get here. That's a 6 black. And we're still getting wins even though we're peeling off layers. And the reason why, you see we're up $39, is because we are, the reason that we're still getting wins, we still had 27 numbers covered there. It's still super high coverage, even though it's not as high as where we started. So let's get a win here. That's a 9 red. That's a win. But the cool thing is, even if you don't get all these wins like we're seeing right here, it's still going to get to that milestone that I've seen so far, because we're going to increase the bets after we lose each one. So let's go ahead and take that off. And now we're at a $25 total bet. We're up $49, and our first milestone is going to be $100. So here we go. And I've noticed when you have an early loss, you actually get to your milestone quicker because you increase the bets. So maybe you'll see that as we go through. Now we're up 60. We're going to take off the 18 that just hit. Now we're at a $24 total bet, and let's go ahead and spin. That's a 15 black. And you see we lost that one. You'll actually notice, even though we lost that one, now that we're going to double the bet, we're going to start, we'll start seeing the profits increase because of that bet increase. And here we go. That's a 13 black. Okay, that's a $24 win. So now we're up $60, and we're going to remove the 13. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, now we're at a $46 total bet with Milestone Roulette. And that's a 33 black. Okay, that's a $26 win. We're up 86. We're going to remove the 33. So let's go ahead and do that. And spin. We're at a $44 total bet now. And That's a 22 black. And that's a $28 win. We just hit our first milestone of $100. Our next milestone will be $200. So we start over. And we put $10. We're going to mark the last 6. So we're going to go 22, 33, 13, 15, 18, and 19. Now, if you're doing this, just make sure that you have enough time to remove the bets as you're doing this. So there's our last 6, and then we're going to put the rest out there. And when you're playing with a live dealer, you probably don't need to do the marking because it'll be easier to see. All you have to do is look up there and see those big last 6 numbers as you're placing your dollar bets. But this is a good way to do it if you're playing online so that you make sure that you have the right bets down. So once we get them out there again, we're going to remove the marker bets. And let's go ahead and do that now. Okay. And let's go ahead and spin. We're at a $32 bet. Our next milestone is $200. And if you are playing online, put the smallest bet possible on the marker bets, just in case something happens and it spins when you're not ready or something like that. And we're up 118, trying to get to 200 for the next milestone. We're going to remove the 35. And let's go ahead and spin. Here we go. So if you're playing online, put whatever it lets you put. Put quarters on the marker bets, not $10 on each. We're up 123. We're going to remove the 7. Okay, now we're at $30. Let's go ahead and spin. And let's see what we get here. That's a 10 black. That's a win. And the reason you get so many wins, we're starting out with huge coverage, and then even though we're peeling off the layers, we're still at high coverage. So let's go ahead and remove the 10 now. And the cool thing is, since these are dollar bets, you know how many numbers you have covered because that's what your bet is. We have 29 numbers covered, and let's go ahead and spin. Okay, that's a 5 red. Okay, that's a $7 win. We're up 136. Our next milestone is 200. And let's remove that and spin. Now we have 28 numbers, $28 bet, and here we go. But again, still pretty high coverage even after all the layers were peeled off. And we lost, so we're going to double. But again, a lot of times you actually get to your next milestone quicker when you have a loss and you double the bet. So let's go ahead and do that and see if we get to 200 a little quicker. That's an 18 red. But we lost back-to-back. That's very unlucky, but it happens. So we're going to double again, and this is why it's important that you have the $2,000 bankroll with this one, just in case you would get a bunch of numbers losses in a row, which wouldn't normally happen, but anything can happen in roulette, so you want to be safe. Better safe than sorry. We're going to remove that one now. We're going to take that 16 out of there. And again, we're trying to get to 200. But since we increased the bet after those losses, we're going to go ahead and first let's go ahead and spin here. We're at 108 total bet. Since we increased it after the losses, it shouldn't take that long to get back to 200 profit is what I'm trying to say. That's a nice win there. Okay, so we're up 120, trying to get to 200 milestone. We'll take the 20 out. And let's go ahead and spin at 104 total bet. And let's get to that next milestone. That's a 15 black. We lost, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to double that bet again. But again, that'll help us get to that next milestone quicker. As long as we start getting wins, we're still at pretty high coverage, so we should get a decent amount of wins here. And we lost again. My goodness, that's another one, 2 in a row there. So we're going to double again. This is why you need the $2,000 bankroll in case something like this happens. But I'm still pretty confident we'll start getting some wins with this high coverage. That's a 33 black. We lost again. Man, that's really, really unlucky. We have enough to double one more time, but that's it. Man, I haven't seen this system struggle this much. So let's see if it recovers or if we're in trouble here. That's a 29 black. Okay, that's a $320 win. We're minus 288. We're going to remove the 29. So let's go ahead and do that. And those bets got up there quick, and let's go ahead and spin and see where this takes us. That was a lot of losses with this high of coverage. That's a 21 red. Okay, that's a 349 win. We're up 61. Let's remove the 21. I know it's hard to place a bet that high, but that's why we have the bankroll. We need at least one more win here, and let's get it right here at 771 total bet. But again, I haven't seen the bets get this high yet. That's the first time I've seen it with this system. And man, we lost again. So here's what we got to look at now. Now we only have 1,300 left in the bankroll. We can't double the bet when we lose. So now we have to get more wins, and this is the first time this system has got in trouble. And that's why I keep testing these out, though, when they're doing well, because, you know, I want to see, and we're at minus 329, and we're going to remove the 32. I want to see, you know, if they continue to win, or if they, how long it takes for them to fail if they're really good. And so far, I haven't seen this one fail, but it's definitely in jeopardy right now, and that's a 36 red. Okay, that's a 413 win. We're up 84. So let's go ahead and remove the 36. And then let's go ahead and try to get one more. Okay, we're at 707 total bet now. And this will put us in good profit if we get the win here. That's a 27 red. Okay, and we got out of it. So now we're at $529. But that was scary. That was the first time I've seen this system really get in trouble. Let's see if it does that again. We're going to put the last six numbers out there again and mark them. So let's mark those. And we recovered, but man, that was a little scary. So it just shows you in roulette, anything can happen if you get some really bad numbers. Again, that's why I'm testing these ones out that do really well, because I want to see how long they do well before they eventually falter, and how long it takes, because that's what really determines, you know, a really good roulette system is how long does it take before you eventually lose, and have you made more profit in that time span than what the total loss would be when you do lose. And that's really the telling tale. And let's go ahead and once we have all these marked, we'll remove those marker bets. And again, if you're playing online, I would make those like the marker bets like quarter bets, so that if you do accidentally spin early or something like that, you'll be just fine. Let's go ahead and get started again, and we'll see what our next milestone is here. Okay, that's a 28 black. Okay, that's a $4 win. Where our next milestone would be $600 profit. So let's remove the 28. I also kind of enjoy, I really have fun playing this system, but that wasn't as much fun as I normally have that last go around. That was a little stressful. That's the first time I've really seen it in that much trouble. And now we're at 538, trying to get to 600. Let's remove the 2. Okay, so let's do that. And spin. Now we're at a $30 total bet. And let's see how this one closes itself out today. That's a 23 red. Okay, that's a $6 win. We're at 544. Let's remove the 23. And now we have a $29 bet. 29 numbers covered. Still pretty high coverage. And that's a 29 black. Okay, we lost that one. We're going to double that bet. So now we have a $58 total bet out there. And then we'll remove the next one that wins. That's a 21 red. Wow, we lost back-to-back again. Okay, let's go ahead and double again to 116. And we still have super high coverage, though. We're just getting a lot more losses than normal today. But so far, so good. But, man, we lost 3 in a row there. What are the odds that those 3 would hit consecutively back-to-back? Okay, we're going to double again to 232. And you can see temporarily dropped this to $341 profit. But let's get a win here. Remember, we were trying to get to 600. And we finally got a win. That's a $56 win. We're up 397. Let's remove the 30. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and spin again at 224 total bet and see if we can get another win here. And that's a 28 black. We lost again. So many losses. Okay, so let's double again to 448. And again, we still have super high coverage, just continuing to lose over and over again. And my goodness, that is crazy. Let's look at that. So we lost on the 36, the 28. We lost on the 30. We lost on the 32. That's 4 in a row. We lost the 21. That's 5 in a row. And then we lost on the 20. Oh, my goodness. That is so many losses. Okay. So on that last one, so at this point, we need to double the bet again. But we're coming right down the stretch here. Let's see how much coverage we do have. We still have pretty high coverage. Let's give it one more go here and see if we can cash out with profit or if it gets us here. That's a 20 black. Okay, that's a $256 win. So we're going to have to remove the 20 now. And that was really unlucky, but that happens sometimes. Let's see if we can get a win here right before we've only got about 20 seconds left. And that's a 9 red. Okay, that's a $288 win, and time just expired. So we made $269 profit in 15 minutes, but that's the first time that I've really had problems with this system where we got close to losing our bankroll twice. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Test this out. Let me know if you think it's good or if you could make some adjustments. That's one thing I love about everybody in this community is you guys send me adjustments to systems to say, hey, if you make this little change, it might make it better. And that is just as good as sending a new system in because you're basically making a system even better, and that's just as good. So would love to hear from you as always down in the comments. And now it's time for that new roulette system of the day. I can't wait to see this one. Let's jump right in and get started, and here we go. All right, the time is finally here for Jerry's Jackpots. Let's go ahead and see how he's making all that cash and place the bets. All right, here we go. We're going to start with some corner bets, and here we go. And then we're going to have some split bets. And then we're going to have some bets right down the center. And you can see the 17-20 are going to be huge with this system. That's a $45 total bet to start. I'll cover the progression, everything else you need to know to hit big jackpots like Jerry's doing. And that is a loss to start. On the first one, even though we're not doubling with this strategy, you can hit double because you're just going up 1 unit. So we're going from 5 to 10 after that first loss. And that's a 7 red, and we lost again. So it's time to go up another unit. Let's go ahead and do that. So here we go. Okay, now we're at $135 total bet. And I'm also going to give you the bankroll for playing dollar bets as well if this is too high. That's a break even there if you hit one of those ones up top. And we're minus 135 right now. Let's just rebet and spin. And let's see what we get here. That's a 27 red. And that's another break even. Again, those ones up there are going to break even, but there's huge jackpot potential. So let's go. We're not going to go up because we broke even, so we just stay at 135. And again, I'll also share with you how to do this with dollar units because I can already tell some of you probably the bets are getting a little too high, but we're breaking even with those ones up there. So let's go ahead and just rebet and spin, and let's see what we get here. That's a 33 black. Okay, and we lost that one, so we're going to go up a unit. Here we go. Okay, let's go ahead and spin 180 total bet now. Let's see what we get here. That's a 14 red. Now that's a $540 Jerry Jackpot win there. Now we're up $270 and we start over. So I can already tell that these bets are going to be a little high for some of you. So let's do this one with dollar bets this time, just to kind of show you the difference here. Okay. So let's put these bets down just like we had them, but with dollars. And let's go ahead and spin again. Now we have a $9 total bet, and let's spin again here. Okay, so he recommended a $2,000 bankroll for the $5 bets, but I could actually see that one if you had a bunch of losses in a row, even though we're getting these break evens on the top and the bottom. I could see that getting a little bit out of control. So we might adjust as we go through here. I might give some recommendations on what to do with these, with the bankrolls and the starting bets. That's a 20, and that's a $45 win. Fantastic. So that would have been huge on the $5 bets, but we'll take it. We're up 315 now, and I would recommend starting with the dollar bets, unless you want to get the huge jackpots like Jerry gets. I would recommend a $1,000 bankroll for the dollar ones, and with the $2,000 bankroll for $5 bets, I think you could get in a little bit of trouble. We'll go back to that in a minute here, and we'll try it again Jerry's way with the $5 bets and the 2,000. But I'm guessing that's not enough bankroll if you have a bad streak. So let's go ahead and spin again here. Again, all the ones on the top and bottom there are breaking even, and that's a 35 black there. Okay, so we lost. So let's go ahead and we'll go up 1 unit. And let's go ahead and spin. Okay, that's a 22 black. You get another break even. And doesn't hurt us any. We're up 306. Let's go ahead and spin again. So we don't have a lot of numbers covered here because, I mean, it's great that those the ones on the top and the bottom are breaking even there. But, and let's increase. But we don't have a lot of numbers that are paying us. So that's why I recommended the smaller starting bet here. And if that doesn't meet your minimum requirement, if you're playing $10 inside, you could put a dollar on the 000 just to make that $10 minimum bet. If you make that adjustment, there's a nice $27 win. We're up 315, and so again, you would reset to a dollar on each. But let's go back to playing it the way Jerry plays it with $5 bets. I just wanted to share that option with you guys, and let's see how this bankroll. Let's see if this $2,000 bankroll really does hold up. Okay, and here we go. So, okay, $45 bet where we started, and let's go ahead and spin. And again, I think this might be a little bit too high of a starting bet for a $2,000 bankroll, but we're going to find out. That's a break even there. And we're up $315. Let's go ahead and spin. Okay, that's a 21 red. Another break even. Won't hurt us any. We're up 315. Okay, and here we go again. That's a 3 red. That's another loss. So we are going to go up a unit. So let's go ahead and do that. And obviously we're looking for, you know, the 14, 17, 20, 23 are the big hits. And let's go ahead and spin again. That's a 5 red. That's a loss. Okay, we'll increase. So let's, and this is why what I was talking about using dollar bets, because I can tell it's going to get pretty high. We're at 135 total bet now. And I like the fact that, you know, there's some numbers that keep you from losing, but you still have to get those winning numbers. So let's increase again by a unit. And here we go. Now we're at a 180 total bet. And let's go ahead and spin. That's a 27 red. And that's a break even. So we're up 45. Let's rebet and spin. And here we go. And that's a 1 red. That's another loss. Okay, we're at minus 135. Let's increase all those. Make sure all those are at 25. Okay, let's go ahead and spin. And here we go. That's a 31 black. And that's a loss. Okay, we're at minus 360. Let's increase again. Okay, we're at 270 total bet now. I'm also thinking about some modifications for this one as we go through here. That's a 3 red. And that's a 270 loss. We're at minus 630. Let's increase again. Okay, we're at 315 total bet now. And that's a 28 black. That should be a loss. Okay, let's increase again. Now you can see we've lost half our bankroll. That's why I was saying earlier, I would do this with dollar bets into $1,000 bankroll, not $5 bets with 2,000. But let's see what happens here. And I'm also thinking about an adjustment with where the bets are. That might help this. That's a 36 red. And I know, Jerry, that when you hit these, it pays huge. But I'm trying to think about how this is going to affect everyone else that plays longer. And let's go ahead now and increase those bets and spin. And here we go. And that's a good one, 17 black. Okay, that's a $2,000 win. Okay, so now we're up $720. So, Jerry, okay, I see that. But let me make some adjustments to this, I think, that might make it a little bit safer. Let's go ahead and let's put the bets back out there again. But let's move them around just a little, just to try something here. And I don't usually do this with people's systems, but I don't think there's enough numbers covered on this one. Even though we got lucky there and we made a ton of money, let's go ahead and let's try putting the bets over here and cover a few more numbers. We still have plenty of coverage on the 1720. Let's try it this way, and we'll stick with his $5 bets and spin, but let's move the bets around a little bit here and see what happens. That's a 22 black. Okay, that's a break even still. So, okay, we're still up 720. Let's rebet and spin. This at least gets to where we have some other numbers covered. So let's go ahead and spin at 45 total bet still. That's a 2 black, and that's a loss. So we're going to go up a unit. Let's go ahead and do that. We'll just go from 5 to 10 and spin. That's an 8 black. That's a $90 win. See, we wouldn't have, the way he had it set up, we wouldn't have won that one. So now we can restart. So let's go ahead and do that. And again, we're going to put them over here now. And let's go ahead and I moved his bets around a little bit, but that should work. And actually, we need to make sure that's covered right. And it's not. Let's see, because we need more coverage than that. The way I had it before was right here, just like that. And okay, so that way we have a few more numbers covered, and let's go ahead and spin. All right, here we go. That's a 19 red. That's a break even. So now we're up 765. Let's rebet and spin. And I still would we're going to play it with fives like Jerry does, but I still would recommend definitely starting with dollar units if you can, and that gives you the chance of having a larger bankroll. And let's increase the bets. So they're going to go from 5 to 10 and spin. And here we go. All right, that's a 17 black, and even though we took some of the money off the 1720. That's still a $270 win, which gets us up $990. So let's drop back to where we started at 45, which is 5 on each, and spin. And I think that's at least that gives you a couple extra numbers that can make good money. I don't think there's enough numbers covered with the original setup on this one. And even though I will admit, Jerry, that it did really well, but I could easily have seen it, going and losing its bankroll as well. So I like that adjustment. Let me know what you guys think. Let's increase after another loss there. So now we're going to have 10 on each instead of 5. We still have, it's still a massive jackpot on the 1720, even with those bets moving around a little there. And that's a 21 red. And that's a break even. We're up $945. And again, I don't normally change people's systems while I'm testing them. But if I see that a system is getting lucky and and that's a nice $90 win we wouldn't have had if we hadn't moved those bets. So let's go back to 45. So I'm glad we moved that bet out there and took it off the 14-17 and the 20-23 there on the split. And let's go ahead and spin. And let's see what we get here. That's a 14 red. All right, that's a nice $45 win there, and we're up 1,080. Still at base level, and yeah, so that would have that turned. I think this has turned out pretty good. We just need to get the starting bets as small as possible and the bankroll as big as possible in relation to that starting bet. I think for this system, because sometimes you probably have to wait around a little bit to get these wins, and be patient. And you know as well as I do, you can't be patient without bankroll. Again, I would probably start with dollar bets and then use $1,000 bankroll instead of the fives with the 2,000. But I will admit that we're still doing really well with the fives and the 2. We moved a couple of the bets around, but not much. So let's go ahead and spin. It still breaks even on the top and the bottom, so that's the same. Just added a couple more numbers that can make good money if you hit them. Okay, we lost, so let's go up another unit, and we might get to see, how far we get with the bankroll on this one if we do have a losing streak. But let's see if we can make this system as good as it possibly can be today. And we're up $810. We have a 180 total bet now. Okay, that's a 25 red. Another break even, won't hurt us any. We're up $810. And let's go ahead and spin again here. And that's a 32 red. Okay, we lost, so let's go up another unit. All right, let's go ahead and spin. And that's a 27 red. That's a break even, and we're up 630. Let's see if we can get a win here soon. We have the bankroll to be patient right now. Let's see if that continues. That's a 28 black. Okay, we lost, so we're going to go up a unit. Let's see, we're up $405 now. So we're still doing good, but we got to be patient because we don't have a lot of numbers covered that pay. We have a decent amount of numbers covered that don't lose, but not that many that pay. So we did add a couple extra, and that's a 36 red, so that's good. But let's increase again. Now all of a sudden we're only up $135. So let's go ahead and increase, which is why starting with the smallest bets possible and having the largest bankroll possible is so important with any system when you're playing roulette. It gives you the best chance of recovery as long as it's a good system, and that 00 did not help us any. So now all of a sudden we're down for the first time in a long time. Let's increase again. Okay, so now we're at 360 total bet. And let's see what we get here. Oh, we almost got the 20. That would have been nice. Okay, but another 360 loss. Now we're minus 540. So now you're starting to see what I was talking about earlier, about recommending probably starting with dollar bets and 1,000 bankroll instead of 5 with a 2,000. And let's see what happens, though. It worked out okay last time, but you never know when it's coming. That's a 29 black. Okay, that's a $405 win. And guess what? If we hadn't moved those bets out to the outside there, we would not have won that one. But you see, we cannot, at this point, since we made that change, that did not, those hits do not get us back in session profit. So at this point, all we can do is just spin again and hope that we get another win here pretty soon. And that's a 9 red. Okay, and that's a loss. So we're at minus 540. Let's increase. Okay, so we're at 450 total bet now. Let's get a win. And that's a 9 red. Yeah, that's a 450 loss. We have half our bankroll left. Let's increase. And you can see that only allows us to, we have to get a win on the next 2 spins. Let's go ahead and spin here and see what we get. And that's an 8 black, and that's not going to do it. But that is a $495 win. We didn't originally bet on that number, so it's a good thing we moved that one. Okay, that keeps us in the game a little longer. We're just going to stay right here and bet again. So we're minus 490. We have 1,500 left in the bankroll. We're at 495 total bet. So it's a good thing we added those in there, or we would have already lost the bankroll by now. But these double zeros, that's the second one recently, have not helped us at all. And we're at minus 990. Let's rebet and spin. Oh, we needed to add $5 to each of them there. But either way, we just need a win at this point, and that's a 5 red. Okay, and now we only have enough time for one more bet. And this is why I was saying earlier, I think $5 bets with the $2,000 bankroll isn't enough. I would recommend dollar bets and a $1,000 bankroll with this one. And if you need to go from $9 to $10, put the other dollar on the 000 and as a hedge bet over there. But let's see if we get it on our last attempt here. And if we don't, then that's going to be pretty obvious that that's what you need to do. And that's a 15. That's a break even. So we're still in the game, but we only have one more spin here. And here we go. And of course, another 0. That was a bunch of zeros. So this system ended up losing its bankroll. It's $2,000 bankroll. Well, there's $20 left in 15 minutes, or just under 15 minutes. But it did make over $1,000 in the first couple minutes, and we could have cashed out if. I get that, Jerry. But I do like the adjustment that we made, adding the moving the bet from this bet here on the split. Moving it from the 14, 17, 20, 23 to the 8, 11, 26, 29. That at least gives you a couple more numbers. Again, I'll show you the setup I would probably use with this one. And I'd probably use a $1,000 bankroll with this one. Okay, so I would go, let's see. I would put it like this. And then let's see, we have, make sure this looks right. Okay, so I would put it like that, and then I would put $1 over here. That would get you a $10 minimum bet, and then I would use a $1,000 bankroll with that $10 starting bet instead of the $2,000 on a $5 bet. And it's always better to have more bankroll than not. So again, just always remember that if you start the bet small and you have a high bankroll, you have a much better chance of recovery. But at least this way, with this adjustment, lets you cover the 8, 11, 14, 17, 20, 23, 26, and 29 instead of just the original way it was set up with these splits that are on the 8, 11, and 26, 29. On the 2023 and I'm sorry, on the 14, 17, and 2023. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments as usual. And thank you for sending this one in. If you guys have a system to send in, please send it to roulettemaster.c@gmail.com. That's roulettemaster.c@gmail.com. And we do this every single day of the week, 365 days of the year in the search for the best roulette system possible each and every day. And if you're enjoying that search with me, please like, share, and subscribe. And let's keep growing this community of people that love roulette. This is the Roulette Master, and have a great day, everybody.